You guys, I'm Alex with Building the Dream Duluth. We're here with Dr. B, who owns Zen Eye Care. I first met Dr. B a couple years ago because he worked right next to my nutrition store. I would see him walk by every day, and he's actually the person where I first got my glasses from. When I decided to get contacts, I tracked him down and found out that he had opened his own eye care clinic right here down in the London Road area.
So Dr. B, share 2 interesting facts with our viewers.
Sure. So one, I used to be pretty obsessed with kung fu movies as a child. Watched kung fu theater all the time, so kind of half Chinese, so that was a natural thing. Two, I kind of travel all over the world, and I got to see a lot of interesting way that other people do things, and learned a lot of different cultural pieces that don't necessarily show up in the U.S. So it's been a lot of fun and a lot of growth there.
Cool.
Where was your favorite place?
Honestly, I would probably say China. I'm biased, but see the motherland. No, it was great. The food is wonderful, and again, just so many cultural differences, beauty. It's a great country. I highly recommend.
Was there anything that really stuck with you from your travels, like just cultural things that were completely different than they are here?
Yeah, in fact, I'll probably touch on one of those a little bit later, but I like how in Eastern cultures, they really concentrate on making a relationship. When you're doing business with somebody, they don't care as much about the transaction. They care more about meeting you and getting to know you and getting to know like why they should care about you or why you should care about them. So like in Turkey, they greet you with tea everywhere you go. The smallest shop, they give you tea, and you just kind of, it's like, welcome friend, come in, talk to me, here's some tea, and like, let's talk about where you're from, what do you like to do, and then they feel that if there's a meaningful relationship there, then you will support them. And it's kind of a cool thing. I think that like our country is a little bit more focused on the transaction,
business,
like, get it done, and like
business.
sell. But here, it'd be nice to slow that down and be like, no, let's get back to learning about the people in our community instead of trying to sell all the time. So
cool,
yeah.
Cool. So tell us your story. How did you get started? How did you get to where you are today?
Sure. So kind of always knew I wanted to be some kind of doctor, and optometry kind of appealed to me. Right after school, I kind of worked as an optician, which is somebody who sells glasses. And I worked with a lot of really cool optometrists, and kind of went through school and did the whole thing, jumped through all the hoops to get there. And then I worked for private practice for some time in Colorado. Decided to move my talents to the Midwest to come back to my roots. And then I worked a little bit of corporate while I was trying to figure out a business plan, and I started this and wanted to do it in our own light and kind of change the model. There's that rule where you're kind of always an apprentice first before you can become a master. So you have to learn your craft, and then once you do, you know what to change about it, how you would design it to make it your own, to make it personal.
And you can take some things away from like the corporate, but then at the same time you add your own kind of touch and twist to it. So that's kind of cool.
I was going to ask you about what kind of things are incorporated from your previous life into this now, but I guess I'll lead more into why Duluth. What made you settle here? It's pretty cold. It's not the entertainment hub of the world. What's here for you?
Maybe it is the entertainment hub of the world. We just don't know it yet. There's a lot of reasons. So I've lived all over the country in a lot of really cool outdoorsy town. That seems to be a very common theme with my life. Live where you play. And so this had all of the things I want to do outdoors, maybe some of it a little bit smaller scale than places I've lived, but it has all of the things. And I really have like an affinity to the lake and some bodies of water. But that's one piece. I think that's the obvious for a lot of people here. The other piece is that I really, really like Midwesterners. I think there's something about them that when they live in harsher weathers, they kind of bind together and work together. They're a little more humble. They're not fair weather people. They're weathered people. And I like that because they handle adversity a little bit better. Living out in the West Coast for a bit where it's always sunny, like people just make up things to be annoyed about. But here it's like everybody's got a common annoyance.
You got a reason.
You got to bind together. Yeah, so I think everybody there's a sense of community here that hasn't existed in other places I've been, and I wanted that. I wanted to raise a family here and have that. And then I would say the third piece is like there is a lot of raw, wonderful energy and buzz to this town right now. Even in the last 3 years of living here, I moved here and just seeing the growth in the last 3 years, there's this similar narrative and story that's happening where all these young people are coming here to create new things and new experiences. And you're seeing that all over the place, and we just want to be a part of that too. So
Awesome. So let's talk about the transition from a corporate setting clinic into your own personal business. What was that transition like?
Sure. Every business owner knows that there are challenges in business. That's the cliche, like, oh yeah, it's not without its hang-ups. But really going from a corporate place, like they've oiled their machines so well that there are so many good nuggets to take away from how they run a business, having that standard operating procedure and things like that are helpful. But I think that with corporations, what happens is they really develop an experience that people love and they gravitate towards and then they just kind of over time start getting more efficient with it and start trying to chase numbers and start trying to make more profits, and so they start losing some of the charms that they began with. So one of the things starting this business is remembering that the experience is everything, and like never going away from that model, and like making sure that every experience is unique and that every opportunity you have to make a relationship is unique, and to not water that down. Like I don't want to start a bunch of stores and just have that be, hey, I'm going to make a ton of money and just make a killing. Like I want it to be special. And if you just keep replicating that over and over again and you lose some of the charm, then I think that you're really doing a disservice, and it's just, it doesn't become fun anymore. So that's, I think the challenge is like keeping that in mind the whole time and try not to, as you get busier and more successful, don't forget what made it special in the first place. It's really easy to do. And I think a lot of business owners do that. And if you keep remembering that, you're always going to continue to have fun with it.
So how does one escape the scarcity mindset and thrive in a value-forward environment? I noticed that what you do here is almost an afterthought for growing your business. You provide a lot of value to the community by allowing them to hold shops as pop-up venues and really expand your outreach. Let's talk about that.
Sure. I mean, it's really not much different than what you guys are doing. You're providing a lot of really interesting content for other people that you want to touch. There's a lot of touch points that resonate with people. They want that. They want things that help them thrive and help them grow. And so that's what we're doing. That was really methodical in thinking that through, is like, can we make this space modular so we can do a lot of really fun events? And it doesn't just start with that idea. It's an evolved idea. We wanted to be very integrated with a lot of the philanthropic causes locally, and we figured, if we make the space modular, we can throw some celebrations when we make certain milestones with some of these entities. And so then we're like, well, we could also host other things as well. So let's think about that. Like, what else could we do in this space? So we've had, clothing swaps. We just had one last weekend for Earth Day that was well received. We've had some pop-up makers, mercantile shops, where a lot of people came in here and sold a lot of their goods. They don't have a physical venue, so that was really fun. And it's super engaging. Like, it really gets the community into it, where people normally wouldn't come together in a space that's not familiar, and they're like, where did this shop come from? This is fun. Yeah. And it's not just about the shops, and it's not just about like the clothes, and it's about bringing the people in and saying, hey, we really have an opportunity here to create better community and make each other thrive in a certain way. And so, the sky's the limit, right? I mean, we had some food tastings, some whiskey tastings, we've had some pieces where we had a Chinese New Year here.
Wow.
So different communities can really thrive from that and get to know each other in a space that they wouldn't have known each other otherwise. And that really, really helps build community, is when you are taking strangers, putting them in a room by the end of the night, you know a lot more people and you feel more comfortable with where you live. Mm-hmm. And so we like that concept, and I think that people that understand what we're doing want to support our concept, and it helps everybody grow. So.
Well, and it's the experience too. Everybody gets to come in here and socialize and hang out and have a beer or two, and you get to meet everybody and kind of shake hands and stuff too. So it gets you in front of them, and you get to meet a lot of cool people as well, I'm sure. So one thing that's currently happening is a lot of places are switching to an online presence, even in professional care. When we had sat down and talked earlier, you said that you weren't scared of the internet at all. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I think there's always going to be new things that threaten your business or your business model. There might be something cooler, something new, more trendy, something more accessible, but there's always a cost with those things. Like internet and computers and all those things are going to make things easier for humankind, and they're going to make it more accessible, but it doesn't have some of the tangible or intangible elements of a person or a relationship. That's fine. You want to get your glasses online, you can spend the 5 minutes getting your glasses online, but there's nothing special about that. There's nothing special about that experience. You just click a button and it's done, you get your glasses, what you do. But if you come into a place like this, like we're changing the story of how that looks. Like you come in here and you're greeted with tea and you're meeting friends. You know, you're not meeting people that are trying to throw glasses on your face. Like that's what we do, but that's not who we are. You're meeting people and they're actually genuinely interested in you. And you're taking care of them. And there's a relationship there that matters because when you take care of somebody, like no one's going to care what you do for them unless they know that you care first. So you can't replicate that online. Same thing with the glasses piece. Is like we know where we're sourcing our stuff from, the causes that they're connected to. We're going to help you when stuff breaks down. And there's a real person element always. You can always come here and trust us because we're your friends now. And I'm not saying that as our model. I think that should be every business model. And when you can convey to somebody that like they're getting real people and real friendship and real community, the online stuff doesn't seem as special. And if you come in here and you have that experience, you're like, how would I ever go online again when you can get this? So I'm not scared of the online thing. I think it's always going to have a place. And I think there's always going to be people that want to save a buck and want to do that. Great, there's a place for that in the market. But there's also a place in the market for people who want something more. And people like dread going to the dentist. They have to make an appointment. People dread going to eye care just because it's like it takes time. It's annoying. It's a nuisance. You have to do it. But if you can make it special and you can make people look forward to that every year, that changes big time. It's like, oh, that was a half an hour I just spent. That was actually pretty fun. Yeah. So make the experience fun, and people just might stick around.
Well, and online, there's not really any differentiation. One place has a different logo than the other place when you check out. But other than that, like the experiences is all going to be relatively the same because you're checking out. You click on the style you like. You don't actually get to sit in here and try them on. So it is a lot about the experience. So that's really cool.
And I like how you touch on the hierarchy of needs. Emotional is a big part of what makes humans and feel good and live and thrive. And I think that's really awesome that the experience that you give here really touches on that. And I think that's why people love coming back here. So this place you call Zen Eye Care. Tell me about your personal definition of Zen and why you decided to name your business after it.
It's funny because we actually get that question a lot from patients that are a little skeptical about like, oh, Zen Eye Care. Zen is so trendy. It's the trendy word of the last millennium. And it's like, but it's more than that. Like, I have an Asian background, that's part of it. But Zen for us means like mindfulness piece. And having just that name resonate with us all the time in what we do, it really does kind of underlie everything. Like we are mindful about all of the choices we make in our business, from where we source this wood to where we get our tea to where we get our coffee, like all locally sourced things, to reusable things, recycled things. The frame materials that we make things out of are sustainable in some way. The paper that we're not using and saving, like all these things are really, really well thought out. And we try to think of each decision we make, like how can it be the maximum noble aim that we can make it? How can we make it extra sustainable and environmentally friendly, and just to reduce our footprint and all these things, and make the customer's experience very special too. And we have to think about all the little things we do. And it's the little things that matter the most because they add up to the biggest thing. So that's why we chose Zen, because when we make decisions where we have to change something or a policy or a thing that we want to do, like the why behind it always matters. And we're trying to align the why with the higher noble aim all the time to make it better and better and better. So that's why we chose that name. And it always resonates. Like we always think like, hey, this is Zen Eye Care. How does Zen Eye Care do it? I don't want to know how, whatever blank, 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 optical does it. How do we do it? That's why it's Zen.
Cool. Can you talk about some of the places that you work with or donate to or choose to use for business? Are you allowed to talk about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. So we partnered with 4 local nonprofit in the community, and our goal is, we haven't fully pulled a profit yet, but we're very, very close. When we start pulling regular profits, we're going to be donating a percentage of our profits to these 4 different local organizations. So Community Action Duluth is a big one. Duluth Superior Area Community Foundation is another big one. We wanted to use some ones in the community that not only just service Duluth, but like the Duluth Superior one kind of goes to all of the greater area, because we're not just drawing from Duluth either. We want to help those other communities that maybe wouldn't get some of that stuff as well. And I know that like our money that we give is probably small potatoes, but there is a feel-good story to that. When patients know that we're donating some of their profits, it makes them feel better about shopping in a place like this.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, our goal would be to get other businesses on board to maybe do the same thing. I think that like a small business like us can't move mountains, but maybe 20 businesses like us could start doing something like that.
Having some benefit.
Yeah, and start taking charge and being like, look, I know that your question was about the 4 organizations, which we can talk about those. I can extrapolate those for hours, so we're not going to do that. But I think there's an opportunity to lead in that manner, to say, okay, everybody that owns a business in this town, who is your boss? Your boss isn't the person that started the business and is telling you what to do. The boss really is the people you're serving. They're paying you with their dollars. They're choosing to go to you with their dollars. They're really your boss. So at the end of this, when you become successful because all of these people are supporting you because you're giving these wonderful services, you kind of do have an obligation to kind of like thank the people of your community for making you thrive. I think the best way to do that is to partner with things that make your community thrive. So in essence, it's not like this, oh, well, we're just doing that because it's good PR. It's a way to say thank you to like, I want to make my community better. I think like a lot of business owners do this. They don't always know the reasons they're doing it. That's the reason. The reason is to say thank you for supporting us and making us thrive. And now we're going to turn around and make you thrive too in the ways we can. So
absolutely. And I think people can really appreciate that too, because they can see that you're not just hoarding everything and like money, money, money. You're giving back to your community and to their community as well. So that's awesome.
And the best part of working with a local business is that money stays local. If you were to go to the online scene and buy glasses from California or New Mexico, that money doesn't stay in our community. So you're not only getting the personalized invitational experience here in store, you're also keeping your dollars local, and I think that makes a big difference.
In the efforts that we're supporting, but also like the things we're sourcing locally. Yeah. All these other businesses that we're buying from, the money goes to them as well. All the money that we spend as people out in the community, we're spending in local businesses. So many touch points there to keep it in. And you just, if you give your online dollars, that's not a single dollar is going to come back here. Yeah. Not a single dollar. So that's huge. That matters to us.
So I know you've given us a lot of gold nuggets so far, but if you could give us one last one to leave in the eyes of our viewers of who are on the fence of leaving their 9 to 5 and really wanting to make that commitment to jump and start their own business, what would it be?
Yeah, so I think it has to do with, a lot of the ambiance in here kind of feels different. Like you've never seen anything that looks like this. In fact, you guys were commenting earlier how this is a great backdrop. We should do all the interviews here. But, it's making it feel special to you and have a lot of your own personality in it. So if you're starting a business, like that's daunting and you just have to do the work that needs to be done. You just have to do the mega checklist to get it done. But do it in a way that like is super creative. Do it in a way that really just puts all of your personality so that when somebody walks into your place, be like, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's Don. That's Sonia. The people that work here, like that's so their personality. This all fits. And like make your website reflect that. Make it look like, hey, this is the ambiance we want. You come in here and it looks like that. And that's the ambiance you want. And then you meet the people and you're like, that all fits together. Like it's just, and it's cool because then you don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to be like, I got this brilliant idea, but like I don't know anything about it. And I'm not like, I just think it's great. It's a moneymaker. But like if you don't put your personality into it, like it's not going to be special for very long. It makes it special when you can just be yourself and get excited about it. And I think like building a space that you can work in that makes you feel that way just reminds you all the time. And I think that also like when you're doing what you're doing in a way that you do it, also just reminds you that it's special and that it's yours and you don't have to fake it.
You're not putting on a face to come to work every day when it's your own business anyway.
Yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just makes it like, because you're going to be working a third of your life. A third of all the time you spend will be at work. You might as well just get to be yourself and enjoy it. And I know that's also cliche, but like that is so true, especially when you build those pieces that you can thrive being yourself. So, personality.
Yeah, that's awesome.
you had touched on website, and through previous conversations, I remember you talking about how you guys put so much time into your website that you almost forgot to put eye care.
It's a funny story. Yeah, we're so excited about. Oh, it'd be fun to do a modular space, and it would be fun to partner with these things and use all this stuff. And we're building this website in it, and then at the end of it, my wife, she goes, "Yeah, this is amazing now, all the stuff you guys do, but you might want to indicate that you do eye care." And have these glasses. And, yeah, so that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. But it's a big testament to what you guys are trying to accomplish here. It's not just eye care; it's everything and anything.
Yeah. So that's cool. I know you had talked about offering a little bit of a discount for anybody who is watching. So I'll let you talk about that. And is there anything else that you want to talk about with Zen Eye Care, with opening your own business? Anything else that you want to touch on about your business?
I think again we kind of touched on some of those points. Just make it unique.
Yeah.
Make it special to you, and don't forget the relationship piece. Like I always use this quote to kind of resonate: is you can really weigh your success at the end of all of this with, and I don't know how you're going to apply this to your business necessarily, but if you take a first-time patient and make them a lifetime friend, that's the level of success. At the end of this, you've made all of these friends, and like it's going to make it really hard to retire because this is the venue you get to see all those people in. That's when you truly made it. That's the true level of success is doing that and creating that.
Yeah.
So, and then for the discounts, people watching this podcast, if you get a pair of glasses, we'll give you 20% off if you heard this. So
nice. Well, thank you very much for that. That's really helping on our viewers.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us in your
absolutely.
beautiful space here.
Appreciate it. Yeah.